just talking about this whole philosophy of how the world feels about Barack Obama. Obviously, he's going to be coming into an administration that's going to have a lot of challenges. That was pointed out by his vice president. and he made a particular comment that is based off of an article that me and you were reviewing from a newspaper called the Jewish World Review. But it was an excellent article that I thought from Catherine Glick. And the reason why I want to mention the article, because it brings a different point of view. Not necessarily one that's always going to agree with Barack Obama, but challenge him on some things. And the name of the article was what? Do you remember?
Well, I don't remember the name of the article.
Testing of Barack Obama's mettle.
Yeah. Now, the gist of the article, though,
Right.
I kind of understand based on where it was coming from, because
Right.
it was actually an article that was written before the election.
Right.
And the whole slant of it seemed to be trying to swing the vote of people who were for Obama against him by portraying him as a weak person.
But based off of what comment, though?
Based on the comment by Biden that he was going to be tested during his presidency.
Vice President Biden, right,
Yeah,
in 6 months.
Yeah, that during the first 6 months he was going to be tested during his presidency, and that we had to just wait and see that this is actually going to happen. And her analysis drew the conclusion that because Joe Biden said this, that meant that it portrayed Obama as a weak president, because only weak presidents are the ones who are tested during their administration. And I think that was kind of a stretch, because I mean she brought up some examples that were connected to the whole Middle Eastern conflict,
right. Exactly.
that supported her point that she was making,
Right.
but I don't think it supported the point that Joe Biden was making, only because if you look at the present day situation with the terrorism situation, with the economy, with all of the challenges that Obama is coming into, he is going to be tested. I mean,
tested from day one.
Yeah, he's going to be tested from day. He's tested now, and he's not even president. People are already attributing, as if Bush is gone already.
Just jump in here for a quick second or whatever. For the person that was on TV complaining the other day that he had a degree from Columbia University and he couldn't find a job, like the person on TV told you, Barack Obama is not president. Bush is president. If you want a job, talk to President Bush. He's president for a couple more months. one more month. Give me a break.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the election was...
You want a job from Obama? He's not the president now.
They just want to forget about Bush, let's start now and forget about it and move on. But I really think that based on, like the financial crisis, the
Right.
terrorism situation, the condition of the economy, just all of these things are going to be tests for any president that comes on. And the mere fact that she's attributing the fact that a comment like that was made by Joe Biden means that Obama's weak, I think is a real stretch. But again, I think it was biased.
Well, when the whole premise, I think, of Catherine Glick, and looking at the think tank that she belongs to, whatever, which is a conservative Republican think tank, which is acknowledged, it's mostly people from the right, and that's okay, because we want to always listen. Like Obama says, we want to take ideas from all over the place. Her philosophy is based on the whole philosophy of Reaganism and a strong military, and that we don't back down from anybody, and America should always have a strong front. And we saw 8 years of that, Lori, and what was the answer to that? America being put off to the side and the world negotiating and going around us.
Yeah, and the mention about the fact that drawing down on the military budget was probably a bad idea, only because we've already mentioned that the military is kind of weakened because of the fact that they've been in war for several years, in two major wars for several years, is a point that we understand. We understand that we need to build up the military because we are in a terrorist society, but also the money has to come from somewhere. And it's the job of the leader or whoever's, overseeing the budget to look at the fact that you have to make some sacrifices. So if you're going to look to, go green, or if you're going to look to, support certain projects or, Medicare and other, like you said, socialist type programs,
right.
You know that the money has got to come from somewhere. And if people are going to say, well, look, we don't want to be taxed, we want to build up the military, we want to go green, I mean, what are we going to have, a money tree in the backyard?
But see, just looking back on her premise or whatever, and I guess maybe if we extended it out to 9 months, then that premise would say that President Bush would be what? A weak president. Because in the first 9 months of his presidency, what happened? 9/11, right? And we're talking about the neocons, we're talking about the war hawks, all these people of big defense and all that, and they still attacked the United States anyway. So what did that say? Did that say that President Bush is a weak president on foreign policy? So that, based on her analysis there, it makes absolutely no sense to me. And she tried to make a comparison, and it kind of made me start wondering about if they're trying to really compare him to Neville Chamberlain. For those people who don't know who Neville Chamberlain was, he was the Prime Minister of England just before Churchill took over, and he believed in negotiating with the Germans so that they could have peace. He didn't want war in Europe. So they're saying that he's, almost in a sense, it seems like she was trying to compare him to Neville Chamberlain and say that he's a appeaser. And appeasers who, like this Prime Minister Omar in Israel, they give away land for peace, are weak, and it never ever resolves the issue.
Yeah, and again, we have to look at history. You know what hasn't worked, and the whole we don't want to talk to people, or you know we're going to sit down only with preconditions. Right. That philosophy has not worked for a very long time. And again, I think even though her article was written before the election, I'm sure that premise or that idea is going to continue afterwards, because everyone's trying to get their piece of the pie. Everyone's trying to get their the listening ear of Obama, where he'll lean towards their viewpoint. Just because they're, it's sort of like the best defense is a good offense. Right. Start out attacking him, saying, well, how come you're not doing more stuff for the Israel conflict? Or how come you're not doing more stuff for, the Muslim? Whatever they're trying to bring it out there now so that he has to now make a decision based on whatever media is out there. And hopefully he doesn't.